Hey, I'm Anna SMYRK and I'm here doing 6 Quix for Australian Musician. The first question is, tell us about your first musical instrument. My first instrument was the violin. I was 8 and I'm not sure how this happened because I don't think I'd ever actually I'm not sure I'd even actually heard a violin before, but somehow I got it into my head that that was the thing I wanted to do, and I bugged my parents until they let me start taking lessons. So my first instrument was a little half-size violin from the local music shop. What are the main components of your stage setup? My setup's really simple. I play an acoustic steel string Blue Ridge guitar, usually just use a standard kind of SM58 mic. Lately I've been playing a lot with a trio. There's a keyboard player who plays a stage 3 Nord and a violinist mandolinist as well. My worst stage nightmare, I'm not sure it was a nightmare exactly, but I did have a gig recently where I was playing a show in Sydney, and unbeknownst to us, the guitarist I was playing with, his local football team was on their end of year trip to Sydney as well. And so we're halfway through the gig when this huge group of guys rocks into the bar, and they've obviously been drinking steadily for several days, and they were somehow under the impression that it was the guitarist's gig, and they kept shouting out, requesting songs of his. So we'd start playing one of my songs, and then halfway through it they'd start singing out lyrics from a totally different song of his instead. So it was pretty awkward, and eventually the guitarist had to sort of ask them to pipe down or to leave, and they did. They quietened down, and I think they did enjoy the gig after that. At the end of them, one of them came up to me and said, "Amy, that was one of the best shows I've ever seen." My name's not Amy, but I appreciated the sentiment anyway. Has there been a local music store that was important to you? I got my first guitar from Scarlet Music in Footscray. I was about 13, and my family lived in the country in central Victoria, but my dad brought me into Footscray, and we bought my first guitar together, and that was the first instrument I started to write songs on as an angsty little teenager. So I think, yeah, that shop kind of set me on the path to where I am today. What's on your gear wish list? Well, I'm in the market for a keyboard. I've been writing a lot more on keys lately, and sort of playing around with more synthy kind of sounds, and the instrument I'm using doesn't really cut it for that, so I'm thinking about buying a Nord, but I can't make up my mind on which model to get, so that's the next decision to make. Tell us about your latest project. Well, I've just released my second EP. It's called Swim, and it's a collection of songs that I wrote during the last few years. I've been living in the Solomon Islands and in Cambodia, so it's an EP of songs that tell stories about those places and my experiences there, and I'll be touring that EP over the next few months around the country.